Welcome to Positive Profiles. I'm Kimberly Steve. I decided I'll go back to school for this particular one. The school setting is where we learn a lot of things, including discipline, and one such thing that teaches us great discipline is sporting. I have with me coach and physical education teacher, Mr. Fabian Messiah. Good to have you, Fabian.
Yeah, thanks. Nice to be here.
Now, I want to start off on your love. I think persons out there need to get a good idea of what is it that you love the most, the sport that you have had a passion for so many years.
Well, it's football, and it is all I know. I've been doing it from about eight years old, and as far as I can remember, I've never stopped being involved in it.
Now, out of that, Four Pillars Academy was born.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Four Pillars.
Well, it's my baby at the moment. My background for soccer started about, as I said, from the age of 8, playing first, primary school, secondary school, club, all the way through. And then I started coaching about 24, 25 years ago, competitively. And I first started at Pro Charter Soccer Academy, and I was there for about 17 or 18 years. And then I decided that it was time to make a brand of my own.
How did that help mold the soccer academy that you have today? Because you've learned a lot. 18 years is a long time.
Yes, and I am thankful for those 18 years. I started as a under 11 coach and worked my way all the way up to the under 17s. During my time there, I would have learned a lot from Greg Castani, Eric Allen, Roderick Huggins, the late David Ward, just to name a few. And it has brought me to a place where I got comfortable enough that I was able to form my own academy.
Now, Four Pillars Soccer Academy operates here at the St. Leonard's Boys School.
Yes, it does. It actually, the nucleus of the boys that participate, there are students of the school. And when I first conceptualized it, I have the resources of the school, I have the boys who love the sport. And so rather than they branch off and go play for other clubs, we decided that they'll play for the school, and then they also play club soccer together.
So we are looking at a secondary school setting, but my understanding of Four Pillars Soccer Academy is that you also reach within the wider part of the community and ages even younger than our teenagers here at secondary school.
Yes, well, in order to have a program, you need to build from the bottom up. And even though I might have the boys coming in at 11 years old, it was also important to search a little younger. And so when I first started, I would have visited the surrounding schools, Leslie Hall Primary, Eagle Hall, Deacons, Westbury, and St. Mary's.
So you've captured the environment. You've captured those within the Bank Hall, Eagle Hall, and close to Chapman Lane, New Orleans community. So you've actually widened your reach. How has that been for you in being able to help these young persons develop something that they might have just done for fun? How has it changed their lives as young soccer players coming up?
Well, the area that you just called the Westbury, New Orleans, Chapman Lane, that is where Deacons, that is my environment where I grew up. Okay. Born in Reed Street, St. Michael, and so I was familiar with those areas, and I know the struggles of finding a good pro football program where you can develop. Growing up, we did have football coaches then, but they did it out of the love for it. They did it because they were community-based as well. And so having those examples to draw from, I decided that, I wanted to also give back to the community.
What does that do for the young child who joins a club as opposed to, grabbing a friend and say, "Come, let me go kick a ball down the road"?
Well, within each club, there are different dynamics. Here at Four Pillars, this academy is based on 3Ds: discipline, dedication, and determination. And so within each practice session, we try to instill those 3Ds all the way through. So in terms of discipline, we have an academy shirt, and they must wear it every time they come to training. So they always look uniformed. Within the dedication, we instill that they must be committed to the program. So it's not as though you come today and then you miss next week and then you come back the following week. You have to commit to it.
You got to put in the
You
time.
have to put in the time in order to see the rewards of it. And within determination, we encourage them to go hard. If you really want something, you have to go for it. And when you don't get it the first time, you try and try and try until you get through.
How does that help to mold and shape from a young 5-year-old to a teenager who has so many distractions?
Well, for the 5-year-old, we focus on fun at that age group. You will find some that are very passionate at that age about it. They cry if they don't get the ball. They might even want to leave the field because they can't get something done. But for them, it's mainly fun. As you grow older and you move through the program, the seriousness of the program really kicks in at about under 13, where by that time you have a love for the sport, and at that age a lot of boys know what they really want out of the sport.
If you had to give us an example of one of your students that came through the organization, could you paint a picture for us as to how they have grown in this short space of time?
Well, as I said, we're only a year old, and it's difficult to really measure, but I can remember, well, I just said there are kids that would just come in and they're accustomed playing at the school, and they saw us practicing, and they was like, can't we join? And I was like, sure. However, I need to get a contact number from mommy or daddy so that they know where you are, what you're doing in case of injury, just to cover my bases. And when they first came, some were bare feet, some they would just want to kick the ball around. There was no structure involved. So to come into the program where you have to warm up, as I say, you have to wear your academy shirt, you have to do as the coach say.
This is where the discipline comes in.
Exactly. And it wasn't always easy. I have full respect for primary school teachers. Dealing with that age group, excuse me, sir, tugging on the pants, talking all the time, playing with their friends, running away, coming back. And, you have to teach them, well, yes, it is fun, yes, you can play, but we want you to pay attention. Yes. We're taking you back to the classroom, but the classroom is now the football field.
Right. Outside of trying to apply the patience of Job with little ones, what have been some of the major challenges that you found in getting Four Pillars Soccer Academy really rolling?
Well, obviously to start with, you need equipment. Okay. In any program or anything that you're doing, there's a startup cost. And when we first started, as I said, I would have equipment for the older boys because I coach at a secondary school and I had some equipment of my own. But in order to deal with the younger ones, they use a smaller size football, smaller size bibs. We needed cones, and I'm just going to say at this moment that thanks to Purity Bakeries, they would have come on board when I first started, and they covered a lot of the startup costs. And so we've been able to roll ever since.
And how has that prepared you for now? Because I expect that you've got some other events on the cards. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, well, last year the older age group, the under 17s, they visited Washington, D.C. And we played in a D.C. Cup, and we were champions of that under 17 division. And so we were invited back this year again. We are traveling on July 3rd to 10th, and we are actually going to participate in the under 16 age group this time around.
Now, a trip to Washington to compete is already a plus. It already says that you're doing some wonderful things, getting the necessary exposure. But as a coach and also as an individual, how do you measure the success of what you've created out of Four Pillars Soccer Academy?
Success is measured differently for the boys. When I look at the younger ones, every time they train, they leave with something that they didn't come with. And so that is always a plus for me. Session is based on the W's, why, when, where. And so at the end of the session, we always would recap and to hear them give us the reasons why they were doing something and how they did it and what was the objective of the session. You know, that blesses me as a coach.
So I feel the passion coming out of you when you say that. You know, words like blessing and those kind of things. Why do you do what you do?
For the love of it, one, and two, when I put myself in their shoes growing up, I didn't always have the person that I am back then. And so I see a lot of shortcomings now that if I had what they had, I probably would have been further in the sport. And so for me, it's just to give them opportunities that were there for me, but I couldn't get them because probably of a lack of guidance.
Wow, wow. So is this an opportunity for you to pass the baton and hopefully have someone in your group continue to pass it on?
Well, of course. The academy at the moment, we have 5 coaches, and we actually have a student of BCC who was one of my former students. He's 17 years old, and he came and said, well, coach, I'm interested in coaching. And so I'm teaching him the craft as we go along.
Fantastic. Fabian Messiah, it was a pleasure chatting with you. In fact, you know, familiarity is always good, but I'm even more impressed
Thank you.
to have a chat with you on something that I know you've loved all your life.
Sure.
And seeing you create this level of give back. Give back is something that's so important. And when you're able to give back with a sense of pride and passion, that is where the true love begins. You've been watching Positive Profiles. I'm Kimberly Skeet.